Well, you're watching, I want to say thanks for joining us. This is Screen Vision. And today is the April 9, right? 2025 edition of Screen Vision. And my name is Tatos B. Bada. By the way, today is my birthday, so kind of over happy today to see another year. There are other people who, they're wishing to actually see their 2025 birthday, but they couldn't make it. They went to rest with our father. So I do appreciate God so much for giving me the opportunity to sit behind the microphone tonight, on environmental talk. This is the more talk about show on the Screen Vision. Environmental talk we do come here every Wednesday to discuss issues like first the environment. And today we have a very important topic to discuss. I'm just a producer, though I have a Broske Guanbeh. He is the host for the show Environmental Talk. So just share, and then we encourage you to at least make the comments, whether positive or negative. We encourage that, and then we ask you to make your input as well, so that we can work on some of these things. Some of these problems that we face in the environment. If you don't know, we're going to say on the platform tonight, and you're going to get some idea on it. But we're going to talk about charcoal production tonight, the impact of charcoal production on the environment. So, charcoal production in Liberia is another means that people use to get a livelihood. So there are many people in Liberia who are, sustaining themselves from charcoal production. So whether you are watching us, we want you to share your life, encourage your colleague, your brother, your sister to just join the discussion. This is Screen Vision. We encourage everybody. So we want to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whether you find yourself watching us tonight, we encourage you. We have a very important guest tonight who is knowledgeable enough when it comes to the topic, the subject matter. So we ask you to take your pen and paper because you're going to learn some new things tonight. And the professor himself, Broske Guanbeh, according to the professor, is a seasoned environmentalist as well. He currently doing a master's in environmental economics and natural resource management. So at the University of Lea Vanessa of Igadi, one of Rwanda best university when it comes to environmental studies. So it tells you that the entire team tonight, the main Sylvester Blessing JJ coming from the angle of economists. Mine are coming from an angle at the environmental management and conservation as well. So we get a man David. David will be joining us. David from the media. He's studying mass communication here at one of Rwanda University. So there are a lot of people who got a man Victor Mame, also an environmentalist. So to tell you that the entire house tonight is kind of a field with a lot of brains from the environmental field, mixing up with somebody from the economics, coming from mass communication, and so we bring a lot of things on the table. That's why we usually encourage you, to join Screen Vision so that you can learn some of these things. And you can even come as well as a young person to give your input, to discuss some of these trending issues. Because that's what we do here. We sit and then discuss issue, analyze, and then make our analysis, come up with a solution, and then we propose. So if the government or other institution monitoring, sometimes they use those solutions, to solve this problem that we face in the environment. So my name is Tata Vibala. I see in the back the host. The host is pretty seated. That's the man of Broske Guanbeh. Let me try to bring him on. I hope he's okay for now to come on. So continue sharing the show. The professor is live now. Continue sharing the show. Talk to somebody to join. If you are in Rwanda, I want to say greetings to the Liberian community in Rwanda. Whether you are in Yanza, you are in Wamagana, you are in Mosanzi, you are in Gisenyi. Greetings to every one of you tonight. For our folks following from Liberia, we want to say thanks for joining us from Liberia. If you're following from the US, our folks from the US, we want to say thanks for joining us. If you are following from Australia, any part of the world, we say thanks today for joining us. This is Screen Vision. And today is my birthday. Like I said, happy birthday to me, man. I'm getting old too, so we have to do what we have to do. So you can send your birthday greetings in the chat now as well. If you wish to send a gift, yeah, you can also do that. And let me say thanks to the management of GT Bank Liberia. They send me a birthday greetings. I appreciate. So it means that my money I saving in your bank is not free. At least you send me your birthday greetings. So I appreciate. And at the end of the message, if you saw it on Facebook, is there if there any means or any way we can assist in the process, they put me like when I said it, they will help me with some money. I saw that portion in the back. You know, I saw it on the last portion. You know, area that I started laughing. I said, "What's going on?" I think people say they put show and saying, "When I get it, there's something they will send me some money." So it is what it is, folks. This is Screen Vision, like I said, and today's environmental talk. So we have two schedule come here every Wednesday and every Sunday, you know, to discuss some training issue for I see the man Victor Mame trying to join. For Wednesday, we discuss only environmental issue. For Sunday, we discuss global issue. It can be issue from health, it be whatever. We discuss it here. So you can form part of the team. Pretty soon we'll put a stock for people to apply. We want for more. We want female to join the platform. We want people who are knowledgeable about some of these issues to join to share their thought, their ideas on some of these things. Mind you, the little ideas you get out there, if you come on the platform and share, it's going to benefit somebody. So don't feel that you the little idea you get it too small. So I don't want to come on to discuss it. But come and discuss. By the way, around the 20th, like that, will be receiving some students from the University of the Adventist of Kigali. They are doing a disaster management or some Liberians. They will be juniors, either 4 or 5 students. Yeah, the Liberians are all here discussing, learning different, things. Some people in environmental field, people into disaster management, people into health. You talk about software engineering, you talk about network, you talk about architecture, I mean civil, you can just name the rest. There are a lot of Liberians here, who are studying. So it tells you that when we come back to Liberia, it's going to be easy. Like seriously, we actually going to come back with a whole reservoir of knowledge that are going to contribute. Let me bring the man Victor Mame. Our guest is in the back. Guest will ask you to please hold on because we want for more people to join the show tonight. And please share the show as well so that we can get more people following. Once you come on, you start to discuss the issues so that people can take their pen and paper to jot some of these points because there will be questions coming from left and right to ask you so that you can provide. Victor, how you doing?
Yes, my dear
Victor,
brother, I'm doing pretty fine. I'm doing
okay,
good.
welcome.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, sorry, bros. If you hear me, can I unmute yourself? You are muted. Okay, you are good to go. Let me bring you.
Yes, but you can put me on the screen now, okay? Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, you are good now. Greetings, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, Victor, Tato Bala, it's a pleasure again being here. You know, let me once again tell you happy birthday officially on this show tonight. It's a pleasure. And then for you to see your natal day today, uh, I mean, all over the world, we are celebrating with you as comrades,
Sure.
as sisters, as brothers, I mean, family members. So we are so glad for you to have this natal day that you are celebrating it. And although a celebration continues tomorrow, as you said, where we will go say somewhere. Uh, Mr. Victor Mame, how is Nyanza, Chief?
Yes, Yansa is relatively cool. So quickly, let me get out my voice to the many voices to say happy, joyous birthday to our CEO in presence of Tato Bala. We wish you many more happy, fruitful years to come in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen, Victor. I do
Okay,
appreciate
thank
it. Thank
you,
you
thank
so
you,
much.
thank you, thank you. While we are waiting for our panelists to come, our guest is at the back. We just want to take this time to actually appreciate him for honoring our invitation to appear on this important show tonight, where we'll be discussing burning issues, fascinating issue concerning our country, Liberia, especially when it comes to the field of environmental study, uh, when it comes to the emission, the degradation, the deforestation that is taking place there due to charcoal production. You know, those methods are creating serious issues that people don't know about. So tonight we will be discussing, we'll be listening to our guest with his expertise in geography and an educator as well. He will be giving his insights about what is unfolding when it comes to uh, charcoal production in Liberia. So we just want to again welcome our followers, our listeners. We just want to welcome you to share our show as we have started, though we have now officially started to introduce ourselves, but we are just trying to lay the basis about what we are about to discuss tonight. So while we are waiting for our few panelists to come, we will not wait for them, but we just want to give like 2 minutes uh, to see if we can get them. But while we are waiting, we can still start sharing the show, and then for other people to follow tonight and learn from our guest, because the guest is a seasoned guest. I know him personally. We work together. I gave directly Liberia at that time we were in Liberia, and he came in East Africa as well. In Kenya, where he studied there, and then later returned to Liberia, and now he's making headway anyway. He's a CEO too to an organization, so he will talk more about himself. I will not be able to talk much about him. So
I
with the
don't, sorry, I don't
expertise
know,
in the
Brooks,
field of
Brooks,
study.
sir, I don't know who we're getting the feedback from. That kid at the back, we're getting the feedback from somebody, kid at the back. So you can just tell them to, yeah.
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 If you are
So,
not
sir,
on now,
if,
just
you are,
mute
if we
yourself.
are getting feedback from the guests, you can just mute yourself for now. Saying you are not coming on, you can mute yourself. And then later, once we, okay, fine, that's good, thank you. Yeah, Brooks, go ahead.
So Tata Bala, while we are waiting for few minutes to come and then officially start the show, uh, it has been a while since we stopped. I mean, we were on technical break due to some technical problems we were facing with our platform. We've been off for long, and then we were not able to host the environmental show as well as the normal show for almost 3 weeks. So and now we have started again as a CEO for this organization and Stream Vision, and I mean, tell the people that we have officially started again. The technical problem has been resolved. I mean, you can talk to the people before we can bring our guests to start the ball rolling.
Okay, thank you so much, Brooks. And you heard it from Brooks. We've been away for some time due to some issue. We were trying to, our technician were working in the back. At least we're able to resolve those issues now, and we are back for good. So, every Wednesday, like I said, we usually come here to discuss issues that center around environmental problems, the issue that affects the environment. We usually come here to discuss it and then analyze it, find a solution, propose a solution to the government so that problem can be solved or to be mitigated or reduced. So the kind of join us every Wednesday here in the Sunday is our regular show. Like I said, by the next week, we're going to put out a vacancy for people to apply. We need female, we need youth that are passionate about some global issue to come and discuss, most especially the trending issue that affects the entire world. We need people like minds, youth, people willing to work so that we all can come and then at least get in our own, expertise when it comes to some of these issues that our community is faced with. So, like I said, you don't need to
Okay,
hold your story in the back, saying that, oh, the little knowledge I have, I cannot carry on a platform. Look, there is a play of learning, right? You come here, you're going to learn more because you're going to discuss different topics, diverse topics. So if you are environmentalist, you're going to get ideas on another topics or on another issue. If you come from the even the health background, you're going to get, because once you get a topic, our panelists, everyone go to do research and discuss it. In the back later will come to discuss it to the public. So thanks, in Brooks, you can take it. You are muted, sir. We're not getting you, Brooks. Brooks, we are not getting you.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
I think you are getting me now. I said we
Yeah.
are running out of time and we should have started 9 o'clock exact, but due to some delays from our preparation, and we are about to start now, so we have gone into a few minutes into our time, so where we can keep our guests waiting while the other panelists are trying to join. We can start the ball rolling. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to start the environmental talk that we usually have on Wednesday every week. This environmental talk is about discussing issues concerning the environment, those issues that are affecting our environment, that causing climate change impact, that causing degradation, that causing deforestation, that causing health impact, that causing uh, the quality air we breathe, contaminating the quality air we breathe. Some of those things that we do, we don't know about, but it affecting us inversely, we don't know. We are always on stream vision to discuss them, educate our people, find solution, propose solution, and see how best we can recommend a suitable solution. I mean, ways that the government can implement or put into their agenda to see how best everybody can work together and resolve some of those things or mitigate some of those impacts. So tonight we are here to host one of our seasoned guests in person of Mr. Emmanuel Toll. Emmanuel Toll, he will introduce himself. So as we are about to start the show tonight, uh, let me first start with Comrade Victor Mame. Victor Mame, Tata Bala, please bring our guest on the stream. We want to see him. Okay, Emmanuel, you are welcome officially. So you will introduce yourself, but it will be after the panelists have introduced themselves.
Yeah, it is a
So
pleasure.
okay, so thank you. Victor Mame, we want for the guests to know you, and then the public to know you, the followers to know you as well. Please introduce yourself shortly before we can start.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Comrade Brooks. It is a pleasure to always sit on this platform to discuss issues relating to our environment and what are some of the actions we can take in our own personal ways to contribute to the well-being of our environment. So, thanks for the discussions tonight. I'm so optimistic that tonight we are going to learn more from our guests in studio tonight. The topic on the discussions tonight is so fascinating. It is educative, so that we encourage all of our followers to bear patience, to listen attentively as we dive into those discussions tonight. So thanks again for having me on your show. I remain your regular panelist, Victor Mame, and I am here tonight. Thanks.
Okay, Victor Mame, thank you very much for your brief introduction. Tata Bala, we are to you now. You can please introduce yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much, Brooks. And let me say thanks to the folks following this evening. My name is Tadas Vibala. I am the CEO of this great platform. And I want to say thanks to our brother, a very young man who accept our invitation to come and discuss some important issues as it relates to the environment. And as always, we usually provide information that is educative yeah, that you can use as a tools, even if you are students out there to work. So always join our platform so that we can have the discussion. And thanks to the man is a CEO for our organization for him leaving a busy schedule to come here tonight. I do appreciate. But hope to have him on as times go back. Thank you, Brooks.
Okay, thank you very much, Tata Bala. And let me officially introduce myself too before we can turn on to the guest tonight. My name is Brooks K. Guanbeh, your usual moderator, your host for the environmental talk show. I live in Kigali actually. Studying at the University of the Adventist of Kigali, doing master here in environmental studies or environmental science. So it's a pleasure always being here to discuss issue concerning our environment. So, Mr. Emmanuel Toll, please introduce yourself to to the panelists and to the audience,
Oh,
and then
uh,
and tell us briefly about the topic tonight.
okay, let me use the medium to firstly tell my friend and brother Titus, happy birthday. It is indeed an honor that when God make you to live to see a new beginning in your life, you have to give him thanks and appreciation. So we are grateful for that. And I also want to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Stream Vision family for actually allowing me or affording me the opportunity to share my expertise with people of Liberia on the matter of great national and global concern. The issue of environmental impact of charcoal burning and its influence on environmental sustainability, it is key to our country Liberia. So I'm grateful that the platform provides a vital space for dialogue, awareness, and collective actions, and I'm honored to contribute to the conversation tonight. I aim at protecting and preserving our environment for current and future generation to come. So the issue of the topic tonight, it is very fascinating because they will actually have the EPA and other stakeholders within Liberia to actually know what is happening within our terrain. And then before I can tell you who I am, let me tell you one thing. There's a normal philosophy that I heard that says that if your education doesn't impact those around you, meaning that our education is a their education, like what? So the fire start from the source before it can expand. So before we can start to go to global issue, first we need to try to settle our own problem as a nation. If we can identify our own environmental problems and issue and provide some mitigation strategy, definitely you find out that it is something that we actually not say, oh well, are environmentalists. So on the show tonight, my name is Mr. P. Emmanuel Toll Jr. I am a teacher by profession. I obtained a master degree in geography education from Kenyatta University in Nairobi, Kenya. And it is a privilege to be on the show to at least share my expertise with the Liberian people. I think there's the experience sharing for me. You know, many of you out there, we will not know all, right. I'm not, no man is has monopoly of knowledge. So at the end of the day, we will actually solicit view from other view concerning or it, the wonderful or discussions, and your concern or opinion will actually be meaningful to us for the next time to come. So thank you so much, Brooks. I'm honored to be on your show, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel Peter, for your brief introduction and then touching the key discussion tonight that has to do with the charcoal production that having serious impact in our country, and not just in our country but globally. Because when you burning charcoal, when you are emitting the air, it goes all over the world. It's not stopping to a particular geographical location. So it requires, that's why we always say this: environmental issue requires global or everyone participation. It's everyone concern. So if you feel that this is only happening in Kenya or this is only happening in Liberia and you are not concerned about it, mind you, the impact you will receive it also in your country. So just want to appreciate you for your brief intro. And then officially we are about to start the show tonight. And we want to again welcome our followers. If you are following from any part of the world, kindly share our show so your voice can be heard too. You can send your text in, or you can even call as time goes back. We will put the call number on the screen, and then you will be able to call and make your contribution. But if you are unable to call, you can just send a text. We'll read your text message that will impact the discussion tonight. Thank you very much. So, let's start the ball rolling. Let's start the ball rolling. As we have heard from our guest tonight about the topic on a discussion that has to do with charcoal production and its environmental impact with the case study of Liberia. And then just giving a brief intro. Mr. Tor, let's start with you in this way. You being a geographer and an educator, as well as a CEO for a particular organization that is also into green action that we are proposing for everyone to put into action, and then see how best we can contribute to the mitigation of climate change. And then with this topic tonight, with the case study of Liberia, what do you actually how do you feel your perspective in line with your your organization as a CEO will contribute to the broader environmental issue in Liberia? Let's start with it first before we can narrow it to our topic.
Yeah, so thank you so much. You for Sustainable Development at Green Liberia. It is a new organization. And, one thing I said from the onset of this discussion is that we normally in Liberia, we normally feel that we should always become employee than being an employer, right? So, and also we should also know that the issue of Liberia, it is not of, when we talk about government, government has to do with each and every one of us. Okay, so our impact also should be felt. So in doing so, when I came back, I said being an environmentalist, and I have actually participated in so many environmental mitigation strategy with the university, Kenyatta University in Kenya, through tree planting activities and doing community awareness, community education, going to schools, talking to children in school and other things. I think it is important that I have my own organization that will also help to contribute to this country. And there where the idea came from, and then the vision is from that end, and I start to develop it because I don't want to be like one of those that will learn at the end of the day they sit in the back, they don't create job, but they are there seeking for employment, other stuff like that, creating unemployment rate or the increasing unemployment rate in the country. So I decided to actually take on that opportunity to create that organization. And that organization
Thank you.
has actually is in, yeah. No, you can go on. Sorry.
You can you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, so that organization stands to actually provide meaningful support or meaningful development in line with what we intend to be environmental sustainability, like to support key stakeholders like the EPA, the Ministry of Agriculture, where you find out that we're using integrated framework now to do like agricultural activities in our country to shift from sustainable means of farming or our farming practices to go to a modern farming practice where we use technology and other stuff to actually increase productivity instead of just really affecting our natural environment to a certain extent that indeed we cannot repair within a shorter time. And also we are in the field of education because we feel that if we are taking this to the classroom and then people are hearing about the issue of climate change, they are hearing about the issue of environmental degradation, the carbon emission in the air, deforestation. So the students, if they are actually knowledgeable about the topic, definitely they will be able to take that to their home. And even when they see their parents doing things that are not fruitful to the environment, they will try to talk to them. And the parent will also be able to agree to them. And then we find out that we all can actually help in the fight of global climate change. So thank you so much, Brooks.
Okay. Having given the broad perspective about the whole topic and in line with your program, your organization, which you serving as the CEO. Let's dive into the topic tonight. Let's dive into the topic. I think the panelists on the show, they are actually seasoned and they are waiting to interact with you, as well as our usual followers who can send communication like text message, calling to interact with our guests. They are already set tonight to interact with you. So we would like for you to dive into this topic for at least 10 minutes, and then discuss this topic that will derive question and answering from both angles.
Okay, bros, thank you so much for the opportunity again. Firstly, before I can dive into the topics, let us understand the component of the environment, right? Our environment is divided into three key components, okay? We have the natural or physical component that has to do with the biotics and abiotics component, and we have another component that is called human or anthropogenic component. So now, the natural or physical component that has to do with biotics and abiotic component doesn't have any adverse effect on the natural environment because those ones, they are natural. But now we come to the anthropogenic or human. There where we have social responsibility, we have political and economics. There where when it comes to environmental issues, like because you find out that we humans, due to some social interaction, social needs and other stuff like that, will try to work to affect or to adversely affect the environment into the way that at least we shift or transform the environment into different things that we are not have before. And then for political reason, also we found out that we shape our environment because due to politics, people sign concession agreement. At the end of the day, some other agreement are not adhered to. You find out that mining companies are coming or concession company coming in the country. They are exploiting our resources. They are logging in the country and other things like that, and then there are no policy guiding those people in terms of what they are doing. And at the end of the day, we don't know what they are doing and how they are doing it. So at the end, it will lead to what serious problem. And due to economic constraint, we find out that some of our brothers and sisters that don't have money that live in some rural or urban places, at the end of the day, for economic reasons, you see some of them now they are involved into what deforestation, they're cutting down trees, planting charcoal due to the issue of poverty or low income within their homes, and they actually want to survive. For the issue of livelihood, they have to do that. So that component actually affect the entire environment. Okay, so now let me take you to whatsoever that we have. So now you find out that charcoal production is a significant livelihood activities in the tropical region, which widespread consequences for forest ecosystem, biodiversity, and climate patterns. Charcoal remains a dominant source of household energy in Liberia, especially in urban and pre-urban areas where electricity and alternative fuels are either scarce or unaffordable. So now in Liberia, charcoal is a major source of energy, particularly in rural areas, but the growing demand for charcoal driven from economic hardship and lack of affordable alternatives has led to unsustainable harvesting of practices, cutting down to several deforestation in the country. So that is one thing we also need to look at. So from that standpoint, if we look at that standpoint, why people are are deforesting and why are we already affecting the environment? Definitely, people get to know what are those things that are happening within our natural environment. For instance, Liberia is one of the smaller countries in Africa with a population of 4.5 million and a land area of 43,000 square miles, which is 111,369 kilometers square. So you see that at the end of the day, looking at the number of trees or the number of deforestation ongoing, it is something that is alarming. So we need to put ourselves together. So Liberia contains about 4.3 million hectares of lowland tropical forests that comprise of 43% of the remaining upper Guinea forest of West Africa. Liberia consumes about 321,000 tons of charcoal annually, which translates to the annual cutting of more than 2 million trees for the manufacturing of charcoal. And this was actually done by World Bank. This study was done by World Bank. So, and the other thing is that whenever we cut down trees and burn, the carbon they have been storing within them during their whole life is released into the atmosphere as well carbon dioxide. And that is why sometimes we have found out that for recent time we found a carbon emission in the air is very high, and then we have so many free carbon in the air that is actually causing some serious air pollution as we go about. Okay, and then you find out that the loss of vegetation disrupt local ecosystem, worsen global climate change. Bon County, located in the central region of Liberia, is one of the most affected areas by this practice, leading to depletions of forest resources, environmental degradation, and climate change. So the extensions on an unregulated harvesting of forest resources to support charcoal burning present a significant challenge to Liberia environmental sustainability agenda. That is one thing we should be looking at. So this presentation explored the underlying issues associated with charcoal burning, its impacts on ecosystem and biodiversity, and proposed mitigation strategies to address the environmental threats. So the pollution caused by burning charcoal, including several main emissions, including sulfur dioxide, SO2, which aggressive respiratory conditions and contribute to acidic rain. And also we have nitrogen oxide, which is NOx, which also cause respiratory condition and pollution. So charcoal burning doesn't only affect the environment, also it is reversed to us, we that are burning charcoal also. It has some health implications that we really need to take into consideration. And charcoal production has been identified as one of the primary drivers of deforestation and environmental degradation in many developing countries, especially in sub-Saharan Africa. In Liberia, charcoal is a vital energy source for millions of people, particularly in rural areas where access to modern cooking technology is limited. So the practice of charcoal production is not new to Liberia. However, it is why unsustainable expansion over recent decades has raised concern about the long-term impact on the country's rich tropical forests and biodiversity. So we should be concerned of these things. By the end of the day, many of us we just take them for granted. And at the end, also we find out that key stakeholders that actually need to be in these places to help us to put in mechanism, put in mitigation strategy. They are working, but now you find out that sometimes I don't know what is happening in the country. We all know things say we are actually bearing the effects of whatsoever we need to get. So the country with its vital natural resources, including significant forest cover, it is a home to crucial ecosystems that play a vital role in carbon confiscations, biodiversity conservation, and climate regulation. However, the demand for charcoal driven by social economic factors such as poverty and the lack of affordable alternative energy sources has led to extensive deforestation, which threaten the stability of this ecosystem in our country. So it should be of concern. So let me drive you behind some field research that were conducted by others environmental scholars, because we can actually discuss an issue with all actually giving credence or giving people that have actually immensely work into the field to provide our data and some information that are very meaningful when it comes to our discussion tonight. So kindly permit me to actually talk about the background of this a bit, and then to mention some scholars that have actually done extensive work in these places that I will say will be and we can be aware of this thing that happened. According to FAO 2020, wood fuel extractions include charcoal account for nearly 50% of deforestation in tropical region. The deforestation has dominant effect on biodiversity, as the loss of forest leads to loss of habitat for countless species, both terrestrial and wild aquatic. So that is one thing. So we find out that in ecosystem we have two key regions. We have the aquatic region and we have the terrestrial region. The aquatic region has to do with those places that have water bodies, okay? And the terrestrial region has to do with those places that are landlocked places where we don't have water, okay? So in countries such as Ghana and Sierra Leone, charcoal production and consumptions are widespread, contributing significantly to deforestation and environmental degradation. They were also done by FAO 2020. Studies indicate that the increased demand for charcoal, coupled with inefficient governance structure and weak policy enforcement, has led to a rapid depletion of the country's forest resources. They were done by IPCC, a group from Germany, and also it was very unique that we have to talk about then. As noted by Myers et al. In 2020, deforestation exacerbates the impact of climate change, including rising temperature and reduced rainfall, which directly affect the food and water security of population across the region. And we also know that currently in our 21st century dispensation, we should be aware that we are having issue with our water cycle. The water cycle is about to change. We are having some changes within the water cycle. But now, environmentalists in Liberia are taking that for granted. Looking at the rainfall pattern changing and looking at our farming season, everything changing, definitely it means that there is indeed a problem within our our environment, that which we need to be very careful. But if we are not careful and we cannot put strategy in place to see how we can mitigate those things, will actually lead to serious problems. Several studies have shown that charcoal production is directly linked to poverty, especially in rural areas. According to Kofa et al. 2021, 80% of Liberia households depends on charcoal production as primary source of income. So that is alarming, guys. We don't need to take this for granted as environmentalists, because looking at our land space that we have, looking at the population, what happens if the population increase even by 10%? More especially those that are actually the charcoal industry. What if they are recruiting people every day? So what happens if that group enlarging or the population alone increase? What will happen to our environment? Definitely, guys, we'll be living in a place that will actually be leading to wild drought, and that will be very catastrophic to human existence and wild living. So we need to also take that into consideration. And World Bank 2021 identified governing issues and policy enforcing gap that hinder effective solution to charcoal crisis in Liberia. And all of these things are being done, but I don't know what is the EPA, what our EPA is concentrating on these things. And there are several issues that are actually alarming and contributing to this issue. But now we cannot actually take everything and discard it into blanket. For another time that we appear on the show, there will be another thing that I think I will have to discuss that is very pertinent to whatsoever discussion that we are having tonight. In Liberia, the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, has recognized the role of charcoal production in deforestation and climate change, but has struggled with the while enforcing regulation that stops its impacts. So meaning that, gentlemen, we need to work very hard. If we cannot work very hard in supporting our own environmental issues or passing through the key stakeholder forestry development and the environmental protection agency to support them with some key literature or some ideas or some technical skill that we have into environmental studies, definitely meaning that we are not doing them well. So it is good that we actually probe in and try to help government to make informed decisions that will be fruitful for the next generation to come. And according to Maya Teto in
Okay,
2021, deforestation stops. Yes, sir, Chief.
okay, you can just like paraphrase it, maybe that I'm not say paraphrase, but summarize it within 2 minutes.
Just summarize.
Because
Okay.
question
So,
I mean, we want to interact with you. We want to interact with you.
okay, no problem. No problem. So, gentlemen, I'm sorry, I'm a teacher by profession, we teacher will let to talk.
I
Environmentally, we
know.
are talkative. We are not jokers. We have to
Sure.
talk. Talk the difficult talk that Liberian people get to know that we Liberian, even though people look down upon us, but we are not like that, okay? Whenever we go out there, we see good things, but when we come to Liberia to implement it, imagine, bro, let me bring something different that is not concerning, but it's very pertinent to the discussion. You send people outside for study. At the end of the day, they have specific fee. They come back to the country. Don't you think it's prudent that we call them to discussion to tell us how they feel about whatsoever fee that they are going to study, what impact or what problem they have seen into those areas that they will help to mitigate or find solution to the problem. We don't do that in the country. So meaning we are killing that, bro. We are not going anywhere. How do we think that will improve if we are not actually taking up into consideration? So I think this issue not to push you much longer. Let me see. There's another key things that I wanted to talk on. Go please give me a few minutes. I know you are the chief for tonight, but at least the mantle authority is in my hand now. How to proceed. So the average annual use of charcoal in Liberia, according to the data of Zero 2023, is expected to be 64.3 kg. With a population of around 5 million, this leads to an annual consumption of charcoal of 321,500 tons, which translates to the annual quantity of more than 25 million trees. for the manufacture of charcoal. So, bro, you getting this? I'm discussing based on what data.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is not easy tonight because the topic tonight is actually interesting, and then it will actually interesting you to listen to one of our teachers, our educators, and in person of Emmanuel Toll, I know him good. It's a privilege actually having him on this show to discuss this issue. Emmanuel, where are you? Actually, you can reset your internet and come back. However, we have gotten a lot from you, which we want to interact with you. Ladies and gentlemen, you can start sending in your messages, your comments, your anything that is necessary to this discussion tonight for you to participate in our discussion tonight. It's a pleasure actually having every one of you where we have our seasoned panelists that are seated comfortably to interact with our guests tonight. Let's look at this context. Tata Bala, Mr. Victor Mame, this topic tonight, I mean, our guest just touched all angles of the discussion that
True,
we
true,
actually
true.
expected him to go there. And though he had dropped out of the line, and we expect him to return in a subsequent time so we can interact with him. So while we are waiting for him, what's your take, Mr. Mami? What's your take about the discussion and all those points that were raised by him? Looking at Liberia having the vast forest, and then with huge amount of charcoal production, and as an environmentalist, you know the implication of that. You know what charcoal production does in the environment. Though balancing economic activity with environmental
True.
protection, it becomes serious conflict that we environmentally we are trying to balance with developers. So, what's your take while we are waiting for our guests to return? What's your take about this before we can start asking our guests few questions and then interact with
Yeah, yeah.
our people to come back?
So Brooks, I was making research on the topic, poverty and environmental degradation, the relationship between the both. These are some of the things that we have to take into consideration when we are discussing charcoal production in Liberia and its environmental impacts. Uh, I was in a field before. I did charcoal production before. Not one time, not two times. So yeah, before reaching there quickly, I want to look at the social impacts, and then I will briefly talk about maybe the health, and then maybe my second round, then I'll talk about the environmental challenges it pose, the impact on our health, the impact on our economy. So as I was saying, in Liberia, one thing we're lacking is the economy is not diversified, and then 90 to 95% of the populations are highly resource dependent. That is, people depend solely on those natural resources for their livelihood. Yeah, for their livelihoods. So at the end now, you see that resources will be unsustainably uh, exploited due to maybe lack of sustainable income, lack of livelihood income. People will engage into a lot of activities. So quickly, I want to look at the social impacts of charcoal production in Liberia. So charcoal production producer are crucial for incomes for a significant portions of our population. If you look at those people that are engaged in the charcoal production, they're using that as a means of getting income to support their family, to get items to buy, you have just to earn a livelihood. So due to the unemployment rate, due to lack of skill, lack of training, lack of education, you found out that people will get into charcoal production without assessing the adverse impact on the environment, on their health, and that of the community. Another one is charcoal production poses a serious health challenges to an individual and
Mhm.
to the community or the environment, because the production of charcoal, my dear brother, is very, very dangerous. A leaf from cutting down of trees, gathering of those trees, of those sticks into an oven, cutting of grass to cover those sticks, digging of dirt to cover it, it's actually intense. And then after the sticks have been covered with dirt, they put fire into that. And then you see this, the thick smoke will be coming out. And those smokes are very dangerous to our health. Yeah. So it has serious social
Okay.
impact on our health,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the economy.
yeah.
And as
Brooks,
I was saying,
Brooks,
due to that lack of diversified economy, people don't find other jobs to do, so they have to be engaged into charcoal production to earn their living.
Brooks. Can I
Okay.
support
Thank you
that my
very much.
brother very shortly with just few sentences, please? I don't want to forget. I don't
Yes,
want to
yes, you can
slip my
support
mind.
him because
Chief, let me
we were
tell you,
coming to you. You can
sometimes
support.
we need to talk, the difficult talk, right? For me, I'm a realist. I believe in saying the difficult truth. I'm not saying something that you think should be pleasing to you as an individual to certify you. For me, I don't do that. I'm a realist. The fact that we have not thought of having curriculum innovation to meet the 21st century development, we will be stagnated. We will continue to do the wrong thing. At the end of the day, we don't do it. So the fight of global climate change is not a single institution that need to do it. It is something that should be well done holistically. So what do I mean by holistically? Meaning those that are preparing curriculum for various schools, they should be able to include other things are very meaningful when it comes to our students these days getting the requisite skills that are needed for the 21st century. But now we are not doing those things. You see, people just play around curriculum thing and then they take money, they eat up money. At the end of the day, they are not doing anything, and our curriculum stay the same. Curriculum that was done since in the 80s up to now, we still using the kind of curriculum. So what do you think will happen, brother? Our people still go back. And again, certain thing, the carbon footprint on like broad now when it comes to climate change. You find out that we have like something that had to do with 82. I was doing a research, something like 82%. The footprint has to do with the consistencies of our carbon emission in the air. That has to do with the footprint. And then that can be calculated by using a kind of technology that is very meaningful to each and every one of us. But now we are not knowledgeable about them. So even those that go in, how often do we use GIS and remote sensing into actually doing environmental analysis, looking at the issue of vegetation? What was our vegetation before in 1970? And how is our vegetation now in 2025? So when we are doing those kind of competitive analysis, and what happens is that we try to know how we are affected the environment from 1970 to 2025. Then at the end of the day, we'll be thinking, we say, what can we do? It happened before in Costa Rica. Costa Rica depleted her wilderness. At the end of the day, what happened is that they went back on the drawing table and they said, gentlemen, this thing has happened because they are involved into logging. Okay. So at the end of the day, what happened is that they decided that each person, even if you guys are five in a house, what we do is that each person should be able to plant a single tree to be able to to mitigate this. And today, look at Costa Rica. Costa Rica is just like almost they are like where they were before. So this time around, if we cannot try to do it, our people will continue to go to the place there to bring. Even look at someone that is way in the rural place. When they talk about the use of technology in teaching and learning, how do you expect that person to be there? We don't get internet connectivity, we lack of electricity. Some people overload this kind of thing. And we get institutions that are responsible for key stakeholders. Look at post and telecommunication. What are they doing when it comes to improving the use of ICT in teaching and learning activities? They need to move to those places and be able to build tower and other things that are moved orange and that of Lone Star here to go to those places. At the end of the day, what is government doing? We talk about Vision 2030. Look at Vision 2030 when it comes to sustainable development goal number 4, 6, and 7. What are we doing about them? Nothing. We are not achieving anything when it comes to the use of technology, anything. So definitely will be there. And we are they look at the use of AI now. People are discouraging AI. Oh, AI can make poor lazy. AI can make, it is not true. That is a fallacy. The reason that we are not willing to transition from one level to another, AI is good, but it depends on the user. The way you use AI will make you to not be a good user of AI, but the way we use it, we actually tell people who we are. So that is it. So we are not willing to embrace the fact that we use technology. So at the end of the day, our people will live at the expense of the thing and they will not be knowledgeable about things that we do, my brother.
Okay,
So what we need to
okay,
do
okay,
nowadays on
okay.
national stand, I don't want to need to stand.
Okay, Emmanuel Toll, let me hold you there. Let me hold you there. Actually, it's a fascinating discussion tonight. Where I believe that this discussion is very much interactive. Where we are seeing messages coming in that you will be able to respond to some of those questions that have been asked by our followers. And then the panelists are already seasoned, and then they are here to interact with you. So before like you partially address the or added onto the point that were raised by Comrade Victor Mame. We actually appreciate, and we appreciate Victor Mame for that brilliant point that was made. Mr. Bala, let's hear from you. We would like for you to give your talk about this, and then, if necessary, you can ask our guest tonight as it relates to what he has discussed or the production of charcoal in Liberia. Let's hear from you, Chief.
Thank you. I just smiling as the guest is proceeding with the discussion tonight. I actually admiring the discussion, and I love the way he really presenting the topic tonight. You see, we it's about time we let me just say young people or Liberia, we have to put on our boots, our jacket. We then have to move to make some of these things work. Things that we think that that's not working for us to make it work. Because other countries are progressing, people are going ahead, but I don't know whether we are coming back or we are going. You were here the last time we discussed the importance of electricity in Liberia. You just heard the comrade discuss something about electricity. You talk about improving technology. Well, if somebody only went to Eastern, how do you expect technology to go to them? So the issue of climate change is no longer a secret. It's affecting everyone, everywhere. So world leaders are working. Other countries are progressing to see how they can reduce the carbon footprint. Though we are doing similar thing, Liberia is working as well, but we need to work harder. So this guy, the guest explain, and people understand. So the issue about so I want to come in, but I don't really want. I just want for the guests to continue explaining. We're asking a question because today we brought you on the platform to explain. We were asking a question, maybe provide other further information. You see the issue about the charcoal production in Liberia. It's not that Liberian really want to venture into these kind of activities. So I want for our guests tonight to discuss. I got one video here. Maybe I will seek your permission in subsequent time to play it. They were interviewing the guy who got the charcoal area. And all these questions this guy was asking, he was like, yes, I feeling this thing. Even the heat from the fire when the coal burst, if I go close to it to try to close that hole, the heat, it's not easy. I feeling it. He even made mention like all the way on the other side there, people who are making charcoal there right now, the entire forest is now clear off. So now everyone of them running coming to our side. So you see, people now they are already pushing the forest only because they want to sustain themselves. So I want for our guests to discuss the main driver of the charcoal production. And I propose sustainable solution to it. What can we do about this thing? Let's look at the main drought. Why is the cost? Do you think people really want to be in Liberia producing charcoal or other part of the world? Because I really not only Liberia alone, other part of the world suffering the same thing, more especially in the Africa. So let's talk about that. How do you see that? Do you think our citizens or people in Africa, more especially Liberia, really want to produce charcoal? the pain you are going through? What's your take on this?
So, thank you so very much, Title, for that wonderful explanation and support. And I hold you at that. We normally overload things in the country. Nobody will be happy to live a life that is not deserving. Okay, but now these challenges are posed to us. They are in our faces. What do we do? National government is not doing anything that will say, oh, they are creating job opportunities because our curriculum limit us to getting the requisite skills that are needed for the 21st century to work anywhere. So now let's just talk about our curriculum. Look at the Liberian national curriculum. Tomorrow you can take one of those curriculum, even look at the science curriculum and look at other things. People are integrating now. Let me say, people are migrating from one level, traditional means, and going to the means of what interactive and supported learning style. But what happened is that we just grew to that. And another thing is that our people who live in rural, let me say rural areas or the rural areas, brother, they are suffering. Life is difficult. One thing we have in the country, the issue of decentralization. You getting that right? So we are not decentralizing places that will lead to certain level of development. All of our major offices and major institutions are all in Mosul, Monrovia. So that are limited. And when places are densely populated, at the end of the day, it leads to so many things. You find out that when it comes to waste management, it's difficult. When it comes to even the means of traveling from one location to another, it's also difficult. When it comes to food consumption, it is hard. People don't follow regulations because the population is too high. But now our people will not feel happy to live life that is not deserving. But now the opportunities are lacking. At the end of the day, what do we do? It doesn't. It is not like they are not support. They are support there. Government can regulate things that will actually work in the favor of the people. But at the end of the day, when government doesn't want to do the needful, what happens? The people lay at the expense of their detriment. We can lay at the detriment of the government all of the time. But now we are not in a position. We elect people to go and represent us in the house. But
So
at the
so
end of the day,
so
what are they
so
doing?
so sir, are you saying that because people do not have the opportunity to another source of livelihood, that's why they are into charcoal production?
Yes, the reason is poverty. Number one, when it comes to social economic status, is poor. People are not having what they need. Some people living even below the poverty line. Some people can't even afford 50 cents per day to eat. 50 cents per day to eat. So what you expect them to, how you expect them to survive? They have to use other means. Going back to our natural resources, more especially the forest. They say, gentlemen, since charcoal production is very key and the demand of charcoal is high now, what we do, let's do mass production of charcoal that will be able to get money and feed our children. And bear me the witness, today is the 9th of April 2025. A Labrador doesn't do anything as of today to find mitigation strategy to this, to reduce this. People that are actually giving birth to children along that line, the process of them going to school will be very slim. At the end of the day, that population will grow exponentially. I'm telling you. So if we
Yeah, so
cannot
that,
do
that, 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 that,
anything,
that propose now. What the government should do, because you just spoke of government is not providing no
I have
job
few
for people.
recommendations.
But
I don't know
Arsenal,
it is a
Arsenal,
needful
I mean,
talk.
quite recently,
Yes,
Arsenal Better just employ I think about 200 Liberians. So there are other people
Mm.
who just I think we should somehow be fair to the government. They are trying their best, but they still need to do more than their best. Because they are trying, but I think we need to do more. So
But
what say you say about Stanton on Spoon? What say you about the measures that people can take?
I just wanted to
Yeah,
come in
so
quickly.
so think
government.
so think okay. You can go on, sir.
Yeah, so you we looking at they
Peter?
provide those solutions that I think government can do. Government do
Okay.
XYZ. Government do this
Yeah.
one, do this one. We think when you do this one, it will
So
lead to this one. Because everything must have a cost.
yeah, for
So
sure.
it
So
will
owing
let
to
us solve
the
that problem. Go
So
ahead.
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So
sir.
I just want to come in for 1 minute. Yeah. So I think either before the closure, then our guest tonight will maybe do the recommendation. But now, Tatas, as he said, we should look at what are some of the driving force. Like as I said before, I was into charcoal production before, and it will amaze you to understand that some of the people that are involved into charcoal production, some of them will burn at the end they'll be left with nothing to even
Nothing.
care for their body. One, it is costly produce charcoal in Liberia currently. You, the burner, that is the producer, you have to buy gasoline because to cross cut a stick that you use for production, you need or change soil that we refer to as a power soil. So you, the producer, will buy the gasoline or the fuel. You will buy the oil. You buy both clean oil and dirty oil. You provide feeding for the power soil operator. You pay the cross-cutting fee. And then, at times, those people that will be going to assist you in a production or process, you have to feed them, you have to provide feeding for you and your family that will
Okay.
be carrying on the
Yes.
production. So, these are, so the
Yeah,
question you asked,
Victor.
what are the driving force? What forcing people, what
Yeah,
So
Victor.
lead people to that field to carry on
so
mass production of charcoal that leading to environmental impacts? We have to look at that tonight very seriously.
Yeah, so that,
seriously.
that
So
that's
as
why that's why I will come in with the next question saying he because I really wanted for him to discuss the cost.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is the
Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like this. You will come back with your next question. I know this discussion tonight. They fall on a particular show tonight. We are in the field of environmental study. So if I give you a chance, y'all will take this show, y'all put it on your head, and then y'all will not let the guest to talk to us or to interact with our because the two of you are there, you are environmentalists, including myself and our guest tonight. So while we will come back to you with your question to ask to give you chance to ask your remaining questions, let's look at this in this way because it's my time to talk. Honestly, that is my time to talk. You guys already talk. So let me talk too. Just give me chance, let me talk to. As we have listened to our guest, he has explained, he has deep dive into the discussion tonight, highlighting key points that are necessary to how can we shift from the traditional way of doing things to the modern way of doing things, where people considering AI to be bad something, but it does not mean that AI is actually bad, but it depends on the usage of it. And then people are now, especially in Liberia context, the guests mentioned that they are not prioritizing the use of remote sensing or GIS and to identify the usage of maybe our land from maybe over years to the current year to know what has caused, what are some of those depletion that are taking place, the changes that are taking place in the land use or the forest, how the forest have been degraded. I know those are key points that he actually stressed in line with this
no,
discussion
so let
tonight,
me let me
which we
just make
actually
this
appreciate.
let me just say this. Sorry, Brooks. Let me say this. The Forestry Development Authority have conducted through the program or Red Plus program that conducted a national inventory, and the result is out there. Yes, since the 60s,
Okay.
when the German people did our inventory,
Mm,
it was just recently we
yeah.
conducted a national forest inventory to know the total amount of forest Liberia had or Liberia have now.
okay.
This is
So
the problem we have in
so so
Liberia since the
so
1960s, all the way there.
Brooks,
You know, this
Brooks, Brooks, I can't.
if you conduct, I come in, Emmanuel. Conducting inventory should be maybe in a range of 1 decade or half a decade to know the changes that have been occurring over years, maybe over the period of 5 years or over a period of 10 years or something like that. But you wait, the forests have been depleted totally, or human activity, the anthropogenic activity has taken place over the forest, and maybe it affecting the biodiversity that are living there, and then people carrying on logging, people cutting down trees for their personal gain because of due to poverty and other things. You know, this is why I want to come up with this question, Mr. Emmanuel, before I pay my contribution on this. Respond to this
Mhm.
question maybe briefly. Let's see how we can balance some things. Considering people need the livelihood of people needs to improve, development needs to go on, and as well as we environmentalists, our concern is to protect the environment. This is a serious conflict. I mean, it's a serious conflict between development activities and environmental protection. And we're considering tonight our charcoal production, which is one of the key factors to environmental impact. Because if you cut down trees, automatically pollution, pollution will increase. The trees are supposed to be there to absorb, to sink carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, to clean the air. They are being cut down. How can you balance this conflict with environmental protection? Please respond to it and then in a brief way.
So I think, thank you, Brooks, for that wonderful concern. I think one thing we need to look at, like my brother said, Forest Development Authority, quite recently they did another infantry. But what is the impact of the infantry? What are they doing that infantry? What mechanism or what led them to have done the infantry? These are things we should be looking at. Are there indicators that speaking to them over the past from 1960 up to 2025? What they have seen between that line, what get that distance so wide? What is happening? So at the end of the day, we are not communicated to. So we should not be talking. I'm not saying they are not doing anything already. They are trying their possible best. But now we have to do the needful, brother. We have to set a system that will tell us how many forest area we have now, what are the wildlife that are there, what are the habitat they are in tight, and how can we put mechanism in place for forest management. At the end of the day, we cannot do those things. We can't follow up. We don't have monitoring evaluation aspect of it. Definitely, we are completed one zero. When I get anything going there, somebody can go there. That's true. I agree. But at the end of the day, what they go there for? They go there for certain level of pattern. Yeah, sorry, I'm not actually denigrating you guys. But at the end, nothing can happen. People using the investing to the country from time to time. What happened? The people still burning charcoal. So the inventory from 1960 and 2025, what impact has it high on our environment today? And bros, let me come to you quickly, talking about to balance things between development and that of the EPA, my brother. It is true that development need to go on, but now when we are doing development, we should be concerned about whatsoever development we are doing. What impact does that development has on our environment? If it has environmental effects or impacts, definitely we try to see how we can mitigate that part and how to do an environmental impact. If there is need for awareness or not, not just take for instance, those money company, we know that our natural resources need to be sold. Okay? At the end of the day, we need money for national development. But does it mean we should go and give our forest or other places they are mining to those people that are not knowledgeable when it comes to environmental management and control system? No. It will give to people that are not knowledgeable about the environment. At the end of the day, our environment will be polluted. It will depleted completely. Like what happened once upon a time in that Kokoya district when the chemical spill. After the chemical spill, what happened? Those that are in that environment were affected. At the end of the day, representative and senator, they went to that place. They saw it. So, brother, let us put Labrador first in all we do. That is the only way Labrador can go
Okay,
forward. If not so, we
okay,
will
Emmanuel.
not get there,
Mm.
brother.
Okay, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And then with the context of our discussion tonight, we know very well that charcoal increases pollution. We know about it
Mm-hmm.
because when you burn the charcoal, when the smoke going to going in the air, it causes maybe something that those it increase the particulate matters in the atmosphere, causing health problem, cardiovascular conditions, and all around here.
Acidic rain.
And then yeah, actually, I said it. Even when you have produced that Victor Mame is one of the he was one of the producer before he knows what I'm saying here. Like when you produce the charcoal and then some of the remaining one, they go back into the water. They go back into the water automatically. You pollute the water, depleting the water resources as well. You know, increasing climate change impact, brother. So some of those things, they are key factors that we need to look at and see how best we can communicate
Ma-
these things to our people to see how best they can mitigate. Despite Liberia or Liberians are suffering from poverty and at the rural area, I mean in the rural area, they are prioritizing charcoal production to be their major income. Some of them their major income. Yeah, we accept that's their major income. But what mechanism, what are some of those alternative fuel we can propose to government or to propose to maybe the local people that like maybe using technology like maybe biogas, biogas, they
Mm-hmm.
maintain gas for cooking, other things. What are some of those methods or alternatives that we can propose that people can follow? That's why
So,
they using charcoal as their income.
okay, before I can dive into that, let me give you certain clue. Okay, Brooks. One of the things that we are having in the country over and over and again, the issue of sustainability, right? So first day, before you can put a mechanism into place, you need to pave the way. You need to provide education. You need to get partners. You need to set a framework that is sustainable, an integrated framework that will be sustainable. If you can even produce green energy like stove and other stuff like that that we use for the means of electricity, electricity in Bogonjire that will be given a post at the end of the day, we get solar, right? It is true that we get solar, but now if you give solar to poor in Bogonjide, what happens if those solar are there, something happened to them, and the people are not educated when it comes to solar installation or to repair them? What happened to them? So we need to look at this thing from different perspective, bro. You know, for me, actually, I have been into the NGO cycle and also coming from there, going to the teaching side and getting into environmental work. I think it's very unique because program sustainability is very key. It's the key in everything. If you carry on a project and at the end of the day that project is not sustainable, meaning that that project didn't work at all. It didn't work. So what we do is that we have to develop an integrated framework. Community people will know their roles and responsibilities when it comes to the issue of mitigating charcoal production. At the end of the day, government also through the EPA will get to know her roles and responsibility as well. International community of funders or donors will also know their roles and responsibility. So environmentally also will know. So what are there that if we are saying, okay, gentlemen, what we'll do, we'll provide store for you people. Or okay, let's stop people from burning charcoal. That's the first thing. What are we doing for their livelihood before we stopping them from burning charcoal? Are we building them up? Are we providing career training for them, building the capacity to provide funding that will be involved into doing mini businesses for sustainability or for their livelihood? Or are we just stopping them automatically to start burning coal? That will lead to disaster, brother. So we have to put a system in place that is workable and functional. We have policies in the country, but those policies have been overlooked. And when they are overlooked, at the end of the day, we cannot get any outcome of it. The policy maker and the policy
Okay,
breacher, there are people that are not abiding by the policy. So what do we do?
okay, okay, that's fine. That's beautiful. Before we come to Victor Mame and go to Dr. Bala for their next question or their next round for the discussion, let's look at some of the text messages that have been coming in. We know all of people are following us from all angles in certain every part of the country, the world, in Rwanda here, Liberia, Kenya, United Arab Emirates, all those places, they are following us there. So we just want to recognize them tonight and always be there to follow Stream Vision and share our show. My dear brother Dave, we thank you very much for following us from the United Arab Emirates, for following us always. My dear brother Abeton Ali, thank you very much for following from Mozambique. We actually appreciate you. Our own comrade, Mr. Sylvester JJ, we actually appreciate you for following us tonight. Our comrade Abigail, thank you very much for following us tonight. Our senior brother, Mr. Art, we call him R7. Thank you, Chief, for following us tonight. And the list goes on as we come back. We'll still call some of you name. Let's go to Tata Bala. Not Tata Bala, but Victor Mame. Victor Mame, we need your take about you were saying certain thing before, and then the time call up with you, and we told you that you are going to come back. Do you have any question as a reader to what we discussed after, or do you have any comment? Let's get to you and hear from you, brother.
Yeah, so quickly, I will still do recommendations. So I just want to run over because we are discussing charcoal production and its environmental impact. So I want to speak directly to our brothers and sisters that are fully involved into the charcoal productions in our country. One way or the other, some are doing it, they don't know the impacts on the environment and that of their health. So I want to make them to understand that those actions that they are carrying on in the environment just to earn their living, it can lead to deforestations and forest degradations. It will take away, it will destroy our forest, and then even those bushes that we depend on, that our forefathers were using for farming activities, it will be damaged. It will not be fertile again because we have burned down those sticks, those trees that are supposed to, maybe after it fell, it's supposed to decay, it bring back nutrients into the soil. So that means our children and the children will have nowhere to farm, to produce rice, to produce cassava, yeah, for subsistence. Another one I want them to know that is that those actions of ours or of theirs can lead to climate change. Nowadays in Liberia, we complain, oh, during those days, we used to say, oh, the rainy season, let's say, yeah, the rainy season used to start around April 15 to maybe October, in between there. And then beginning from October 15 upward, we don't expect anything like rain. But now it is not the same. So these things are happening because of our actions, because of what we do into the environment. So to our brothers and sisters out there, I want you to know that those things that we are doing in our environment, in our surrounding, are also responsible for some of those things that we are experiencing. We experience drought, we experience flooding. Yeah, so some of those things are because of our action or our activities that we do within the environment. Another one there is that air pollution. The productions of charcoal is seriously lead to air pollutions. It pollutes our quality air that we breathe for a healthy living. The charcoal that you burn, the fire that you put within to that oven, that blue and green smoke that you see coming up, it leads to serious lungs issues. It can damage our lungs. It can cause serious health issues for us. Another one is that it can lead to loss of ecosystem. Yeah. So those trees that you are cutting down, those trees are there to protect your soil, because the trees there to protect them. For example, if you're experiencing heavy downpour of rain, the trees will absorb some of those rain, not to touch the soil, thereby preventing soil erosion. But if you cut down part of the tree to produce charcoal, you should know that that can also lead to soil erosion. So, quickly, although we know that we don't have any other uh, livelihood, we don't have any other activities that we can do to earn our living. But equally so, we are telling you people that those activities, because you cut down a tree without planting trees. One of the things in Liberia that is lacking is reforestation. People are not into, they don't know that attitude of replanting tree. You just cut down, you cut down. Sometimes they sell, if you are not able to burn the stick, you sell it to another person that is capable, that have that strength to burn or to produce a charcoal. So those actions, we cut down the
Okay.
tree without planting.
Mm.
Yeah, so that's just my
Yeah.
warning to those of our brothers and sisters that are involved into the charcoal production. They need to know the impact of what they are doing to the
Yeah,
environment
Victor,
and to
Victor,
their health.
Victor,
Thank you. I'll
thank
stop
you
there for
for the
now.
simplest explanation because I actually appreciate it. And like in Rwanda here, the people are into planting trees. If you cut down one, you plant five. You cut down one, you plant two. You cut down one, you plant three. That's a policy in this country. So why don't you think
So
the same policy can be or we can have another policy that die in Liberia? Same we are
yeah,
we believe that charcoal production is one of the incomes for the livelihood of people. You implement those policy that if you cut down tree, you cut down one, you plant another one. It will help the reforestation. It will help to for the forest to be replenished after you have
yeah,
cut down and then you play another one. It will help in that direction, like Victor rightfully said. So Tato Bala, before we come to you, Mr. Guest, that gets
Yeah.
to Tato Bala and hear from him
So, Tato,
briefly before we come to
I don't want to forget about what Vito said. Sorry, because the mind is busy. So let me get through light to that shortly. When it comes to reforestation, we need to be very careful and cognizant. Okay. One thing we do, planting trees. Some trees are personal. So if the people are not educated or forestry development authority have not identified or went to the location to do survey to see whether those tree species are okay in that place, at the end of the day, will damage the entire species that are there because some of those trees are personal. You cannot just plant any tree anywhere because if you're planting it, so you need to read the history of that tree and know the impact of that tree in the environment and see which environment that tree survive. The adaptability also is key. So these are information that we need to care to our people to educate them on these things. We cannot just plant trees because we want to plant trees. We plant trees, take into consideration the tree species that are there. Planting tree is very unique, but we also need to be careful. And again, the issue of burning charcoal, it actually helps to kill the decomposer that are formed within the soil that help to decompose material that are now useful, like dead material or other thing like that. Like when you cut the trees down, there are other means of microbe or probably or species in the soil that help to decompose. So if we continue to pour heat, at the end of the day, we'll kill them and it will lead to what infertility of the soil. We will get the soil to not be fertile and when we plant it, they will not be growing. And also, like you said, some
definitely,
of the trees that we are
definitely,
burning,
definitely, because
they are very well
yeah,
personal. So
definitely,
if they it rains at the end of the day, they wash that arches away and take it into the river, and people are drinking that river. They are not very careful. These are some of the health implications that we have in the country, but we don't know where they're coming from. We don't know their sources because we are not investigating
yeah,
them
you are
thoroughly
right.
to know what is really happening. So we really need to be cognizant about
Yeah,
how we go about doing things. What are the mechanisms that we are putting in place that will actually help us to actually do the needful instead of our action harming the people? Our action should be able to what to help the people. Thank you so much, sir.
definitely, definitely. Before Tato Bala comes in, while he preparing himself to come, let me recognize Mr. Jacob Carter Jr. for following us. We actually appreciate you. He says, great discussion. I'm following the show. Our guest is actually not knowledgeable. We hope to ask more questions. We actually appreciate you for following us tonight, Emmanuel T. Dixon. We actually appreciate you for following us tonight. And Mr. Fagon, Derail, thank you always in Yanza, and you follow us as long as we come on show. You follow us always. Jessina, thank you very much for following us tonight. We actually appreciate every one of you. And we want to also recognize Ambassador Joseph, Ambassador Joseph. Is it Kainya? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Kainya, Joseph Kainya.
Kahiya,
Congratulations.
Kahiya Jion.
Yeah, Kainya. Thank you very much. Congratulations to all of all of you for bringing scholars for always always remain us. Remind us. I think that's remind us. He want to say here. Okay, remind us most especially when it comes to developmental issues within our community and our country or our country. Thank you very much, Joseph, for following us tonight. And you follow when and they say another information here. We actually appreciate you for following us and sending in your contribution. Tata Bala, let's hear from you. Do you have any comment? Let's hear from you because we don't have time. We have little time and we need to speed up now.
So thank you,
So I
bro.
think we'll need to.
So
Yeah,
because of time's sake, right now we don't have time. We don't really have time. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to appreciate the guests once more for the expertise when it comes to the topic. We hope to have you on another time. But I want you to throw light on the environmental implications of charcoal on the water bodies, because most of our people in the rural area depends on these rivers, lakes, like alone for their livelihood. They usually go there to fishing, also, drink it, take bath. What's the impact when it comes to the issue of charcoal production on the water sources?
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So
You can
common,
just summarize
the,
it because really lecturer will give you chance. You're not
the
we're not
common,
moving
the
the
common, the common impact is a lead to water pollution. And at the end of the day, we found out that not only when the rainfall, even the rainwater that is coming from off also is not okay for drinking, because when carbon emission goes into the air, we tell you that some of the conditions can make the rain to be acidic. Okay. And when the rain is acidic and then we drink the water, at the end of the day, we found out that we get what certain problem from that. And also, like we said, if the rain falls and then it has to wash away sediment from the soil and deposit it into the river, what happens? It also help to pollute the river. It is not just polluting the river, but also fish species that are there, other species that are living around, they are also at risk. So we should have that. So I'm just trying to advise my people that places that we have high level of charcoal burning and then close to river bank and other things like that, whenever we are going, since indeed we are not knowledgeable or we don't have means of purifying the water there or to do water quality testing to know whether the water is okay, we should carry our water from our houses to start to drink instead of drinking the river, to minimize those kind of infection from the river, because definitely it will make our people to get sick and many of them will die not knowing that those things are actually happening. So thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
So for me, that is
Okay.
what I have to
Thank
do
you.
about the water. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, go ahead,
okay,
bro.
thank you, Emmanuel, and thank you, Tatos. Do you have anyone to add up, Tato?
No, just he has said a lot. I think the messages
Okay,
have gone across
okay,
already. So
okay.
Victor, yeah,
So,
Thank you very much. You know,
the recommendation.
when
Can
we
I do the
keep bringing
recommendation
the
and then we
impact.
conclude, please?
No, don't
yeah,
worry, don't
because we
worry,
don't.
don't
Yeah.
worry, don't worry. The time is yours. The time is yours. You must do that. You must do that. We cannot be ungrateful by bringing you here and you not make recommendation to the public or to the government or even to us here or to researchers to see how best they can start implementing some certain strategy that will help the discussion tonight. Uh, when we mind, we will keep discussing about the impacts charcoal production has, diverse impacts in the lives of everybody,
Yeah.
on the environment, the causing climate change, everything. So we will keep discussing it tonight, and our discussion will not finish. And we don't have much time tonight. We would like to even bring our guest back. Probably we might bring him to discuss that different issue, but it will be also in line with the same charcoal production or other deforestation directly, something like that. Because that's the area that the man is a geographer, so that's the area there. So we actually appreciate his expertise and his insight into the discussion tonight. We actually appreciate him, and we appreciate everyone that have been following us from every part of the world. People who've been following from Liberia, from Rwanda, from United Arab Emirates. Every part of the world, we actually appreciate you for your time tonight. So we will just give each panelist a time to give maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes to make their recommendation, so we can give the guests the time now to make the overall recommendation when it comes to policy making. Thank you. Let's start with Victor.
Yeah, so quickly, not to exceed my 2 minutes, you know, I want to remind our policy maker, governments, NGOs that those people that are engaged into illegal activities in Liberia, such as charcoal production, illegal logging, illegal hunting. Some of those people are doing these things because of lack of livelihood activity, no alternative options. So our government is doing well, but we are appealing to them to do more. Try to diversify the economy, to encourage those people to engage into off-farm activities by acquiring skill, yeah, entrepreneurship, women empowerment. These activities will help when you have a man that have diverse sources of income. Will not directly be engaged into charcoal production, looking at the labor intensity. So when they have other sources of income, when they have other career, they will actually prioritize that than going into charcoal production. So our government can try to empower TVET or trade school to support education, girls education, men and boys education, Yeah, and that will help to diversify the economy where people will have other skills, they'll have other training rather than charcoal production, rather than the cutting of palm, or rather than illegal hunting and etc.
Amen. Allez, mais 2 minutes, still going. If you give Mammy the chair, we're not moving now.
Okay, 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 Victor. Tata, please give Victor chance. Okay, Victor, thank you very much. Tata, we are to you. Please give your recommendation and your parting.
So that once again, I
And
want to say thanks to all those who are following. Victor, thank you. You know our level you see on the platform. So we'll continue, we'll go up. So that just come as a thing. Thank you for coming and thanks to our followers. You know, you mentioned something about decentralization of some of the activities because, like we mentioned, most of these people who are doing this thing because they don't have another source of livelihood. That's why they are doing this thing. So, if you decentralize the activities, for example, you get or the passport got branched in Grand Gila, you get passport got branched in, or the place here. Bombing, you got passport people on the other side, it will create job. You got different agricultural get the branches all over. So if somebody wants certain service or services, they won't leave their community to come all the way to Monrovia. They're also going to help in job creation. So and they should also like let it, train our people into fish farming, fish pond. People can somebody can you train up people into fish farming. At the end of the day, they won't be carry on that charcoal production, maybe going to reduce the force on the forest. People won't really cut the forest down because they will be into another activity is doing. So the next thing government need to really focus on the enforcement of the policies. Like we usually say, all the Google laws we have it, but enforcement aspect is weak. Everybody know everybody in Liberia. You violate the moment police make catch you, they pick up phone. You know me, you know who my father is, you know who my uncle is, they ready to pick up phone to call. One female just send one office say, my man, leave that person that my late nephew, that my late niece. It doesn't work like that. If you continue to do things like that, the country will not go nowhere. If your niece goes wrong, let he or she face the law. And the law should be the law. Once you have that thing in place, my brother, I think we'll move to another level. Once again, thank you and thanks to our people following tonight.
thank you, buddy.
Okay, Tato, thank you very much. Before I come to the guest, let me make my own recommendation. You know, it's actually important for us to make recommendation. I'll be the takeaway for people to know. Actually, one of the things that Liberia, our government or our institutions, educational institution, government institution need to actually focus on when it comes to environmental issue. The guest mentioned about curriculum. Let it try to actually invest or prioritize. Let it try to prioritize research. It will help us to identify environmental problems that we are facing in the country. It will help to even identify the changes that have been occurring in the land use, in the forests that people have been using. It will help us to identify them because when researchers are making those research and then putting publishing the result, people will start learning from those things. You see, Rwanda here, when you study in Rwanda here, you want to do your research, people say use your case study should be in Rwanda. That's another mean of putting the country issue, environmental issue, everything about the country on social media or in journal that people will go and read about them and know what is important about the country or what affecting this country. It will be necessary for our government to look into that direction as
Guys,
well. And we
hopefully
and
my battery is low.
so
I
Emmanuel,
have 10% remaining, please.
Emmanuel, you can make your contribution, you can make your final takeaway. Let's hear from you and then we can have it a day.
All right, thank you so much, sir. So, owing to this difficulty or circumstances surrounding Liberia production of charcoal, which have significant deforesting the nations, the government, key partner, local stakeholders, and members of the community must work together to actively set priorities to assist in the development of useful framework that will serve as a roadmap for preventions of our wild tropical forests and biodiversity. Taking to these points into consideration, I suggest implementing the following actions to aid in the creation of Liberian sustainable forest management framework. Number one, those who rely on charcoal for income should receive basic capacity building training through shop business or entrepreneurial workshop. Following training, they should also be provided with funding that will help them in the future, that will allow them to get some little establishment that will depend on to develop or adapt sustainable forest management framework for Liberia to establish goals to improve values of forests and what sustainable production, processing, marketing, and other trade. Like you find out that in other places people using eco tracing, right? Where they use tracing and they get other places forest, the meadow forest interesting as a means of what employment. So once we start to do that, I believe that we'll try to move somewhere. We cannot get a natural environment. At the end of the day, we are not making use of them. Additionally, there must be chances to put sustainable forest management framework in practices such as not restricted to the following: government acknowledging for what
Okay,
governing bodies, global environmental agreement, including national and specified naturalization. Brooks,
okay.
so I think I will stop there. So the government need a lot to do because if we don't develop a comprehensive framework that will help us in the process or to help us mitigate this problem, at the end of the day, we'll not do anything for that. So Liberia, like for example, here I say Liberia will achieve zero deforestation and forest degradation as its forest will be maintained, sustainably managed, and while regenerated through collaborative cross
Okay.
sectors and while transformative programs that will promote economic growth, food security, and while resilience. So that is my end, and thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. I stay seek many interaction with you guys. I'm grateful. Thank you so much.
We actually appreciate for honoring our invitation to appear on our show tonight to discuss this fascinating issue. We actually appreciate you, and we want to also like recognize Agnes Dan and Elijah Johnson for following us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our show tonight. We will be back on next Wednesday, and even Sunday. This coming Sunday will be our normal discussion on our stream vision, and then next Wednesday will be environmental talk. We actually appreciate every one of you for following tonight and making your contribution towards our discussion tonight, and we appreciate our panelists for interacting with our guests lengthily. And we appreciate our guests for appearing on our show to educate us on this issue. Thank you very much. We happy your day, and then we return
Mhm.
another day. Thank you.
Thank you. Indeed,
Yes, sir.
you have been
Thank you.
following. Go ahead.
So, bros, thank you. And again, shortly, I don't like to sleep on something, right? One thing we have done, there are a lot of researchers that go out of the country, but government don't prioritize them coming to the country to actually conduct study in the area of interest. So how do we think we'll get a data that will help us to solving the problem? So let's prioritize people that go out there to come back into the country, conduct study into resolving or trying to provide information on mitigating strategy within our environment. Because like we went to Kenya, many of our colleagues did their study in Kenya, but for me, unfortunately, they might like bro.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. The guest already off due to a battery. He doesn't have enough power to remain and then end his statement. So Victor Mame and Tata Bala, we actually appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, bros. Indeed, you have been following Screen Vision. My name is Tatas Bibala. Do join us on Wednesday and Sunday for another edition of Environmental Talk. This is where we discuss national issues that affect the world, and we'll come up with a solution. We'll propose mitigation measures to the government or our partners. So whether you are following, keep following Screen Vision, and I will ask you to also go on YouTube because we have our page on YouTube to follow on Screen Vision on YouTube as well. And then for us, we need support. If you see us complaining about time, we are actually using the unpaid version of this, the Lagos software we are using. So if you're out there, you could be, a good humanitarian to support the platform. You can just pay for either 1 or 2 months for us, so at least we can broadcast our activities for more than like 2 3 hours, endlessly, because when you're using a paid version they usually give you like up to 50 hours of broadcasting. So it tells you that you can add this call one show up to 50 hours. So we asking our people out there, our people who've been following in the US and other part of the world to kind of contribute to the platform, because we want to widen our courage. We want for more people to follow. We want to actually sit and digest the discussion. But because of the unpaid version we are using, we cannot do that. So please, if you're out there and you're following us and you think you're able to help, but anyway you can contribute, we do appreciate that. Again, my name is Tatas Vibara. This is Screen Vision. We hear every Wednesday, and thanks so much for following. You listen to our guests. You were actually on top of the discussion tonight. And our host, Bros Guanbeh, Lemay Victor Mame, I mean the entire team. We want to say thanks to you guys and to our follower. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Again, today's my birthday. So you see, I spend my birthday sitting, talking, discussing national issues. So that's why we do that. We make some of these sacrifices so that generation to come, they will know that at least our fathers, our brothers said this thing before and comedy didn't take action. Now see wherever taking us to. So thank you. My name is Tatas Vibala once more. Bye bye. Do have yourself a good day.